I dream of it, amongst the wild threads of history and the myriad of paths. My path saw the Imperium rise from the ashes left in the wake of the Great Revolt. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of the human mind. With that commandment, new avenues of human potential were explored. Mentats, Sukdoctors, so
whispers on the wind, calling the names of the fallen. Brave souls, now but shadows in the dunes. The remnants of glory. Desert silence, broken by memory. Sand beneath our feet, shifting with each sacrifice. Lives given to the cause. The remnants of glory. Era of valor, of gallant deeds, echoes in the annals of history. History, written in blood and sweat. The remnants of glory. In the silence, we remember names and faces faded. Faded but not forgotten, their legacy aflame, undying. Glory may fade, but honor remains. A guiding star, eternal, the remnants of glory. In the stillness, whispers linger, ghosts of battles fought. Won or lost, but not forgotten, their echoes. Echoes of valor.
Welcome, noble listeners of House Atreides, to another poignant episode of Through Their Eyes. Today, we bring you the story of Sergeant Creel, a decorated member of the Second Expedition who faced the horrors of war and delve into his experiences. We honor the bravery and sacrifices of our troops.
Sergeant Creel, thank you for joining us today. Can you start by telling us about your involvement in the operation at Dejum Wadi?
We're operational in the deep desert, so scouting came back with reports of a Hark emplacement at Dejumwadi. Well, that was a serious provocation.
What happened at Dejumwadi?
Like I said, we own the deep desert, so when word got back to us of a Harkonnen bastion being raised, our commanders knew what to do. 7 different cohorts, including the 5th Mesa Infantry and Gurney Zone, were simultaneously deployed in a coordinated attack. The whole operation was brutal. The Hark defenders much more vicious than we were used to.
And yet, you and your fellow soldiers managed to execute the mission with surgical precision. Can you share a specific moment from that operation that stands out in your memory?
Well, there was this one moment, I guess. The Hark bastion was still only half built, and we'd taken out a group of engineers, but we were spotted by a fortified lasgun position from the finished part of the bastion and pinned down. They were really tearing us apart. Somehow, we managed to get behind them through the half-built works. I remember crawling through the blood-stained sand and rubble. The smell of death and fried ozone thick on the air. When we finally took out that position, at least, it felt like a small victory in this ceaseless ocean of despair.
Your bravery is truly inspiring. As the operation continued, what kept you and your fellow soldiers going?
Duty, honor, the things they drill into you from day one. The example set by the fearless men of Gurney's Zone. But honestly, in the end, I'm all about the man next to you. It's him you fight for. Keeps him alive. It wasn't about grand ideals anymore. It was about survival.
House Atreides prides itself on its moral high ground and honorable conduct. How did the principles of Canley and the Great Convention hold up under the extreme conditions of battle?
Canley? That's for fancy folks with sashes and pressed uniforms. For us, the reality of war changes people. These missions, you do things that you never thought you would. I remember one night, after we took out a Hark listening station, seeing my comrades picking through the carnage off of Harkonnen survivors. It seemed different somehow. As if the brutality of the war had drained all humanity out of them. I even remember
It's clear that the emotional toll is heavy. Perhaps we can focus more on the moments of camaraderie and hope that you experienced during this.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments, sure, but like between missions, people share stories, laugh about the little things. Anything to keep the darkness at bay. But those moments are fleeting. The reality of what we have to do is always there, lurking in the background.
And during the Shield Wall operation, what was the state of your unit at that point?
At that point, we were exhausted, barely holding on. More than half the unit was replacements by then. Young, inexperienced kids, really. Just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. And the Harkonnens had good intel. They somehow knew about most of our operations beforehand. I lost more friends in those days than I can count. I mean, we were just trying to stay alive, you know? Mission by mission, but... really... what was the point of it all?
Sergeant Creel, I'm sure at least you find some solace in knowing that your courage and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Can you share with us the impact your involvement in these operations has had on you personally?
I mostly just remember the, faces. The screens. The loss. I mean, I try to recall the good we did, the successes and the victories, but... it's hard. So damn hard.
Your service and dedication to House Atreides are deeply appreciated. We thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you. I just hope it was worth it.
And that concludes our interview with Sergeant Creel. His story is a stark reminder of the sacrifices made by our brave special forces. Let us honor their sacrifices and strive for a future where this can finally end. And the
Be
Harkonnens
you
are
flesh, or be you another spice mirage, either way I will speak with you and glean what revelations there are to glean. Flesh is real, illusion is also real. But I take it you meant that you are of flesh and substance. I will take you at your word. Welcome. Keep your weapons lowered, if you please. I am Ishmar, and I travel with these kind souls before you. We are on a pilgrimage. Peace be upon you. As you well know, death is a constant companion in these wastes. Some of our number have been claimed by the desert. May they find peace. To guide them on their eternal pilgrimage, we place totems at certain locations in the Haga Basin. Would you help us in this sacred endeavor? Dalvia journeyed from Arson to join our pilgrimage. While scaling a cliff, she suffered a bad fall and passed away in our camp 5 days later. We would take it as a great kindness if her totem was placed high, where it can overlook the basin as the sun rises and sets. Dalvia deserves no less. Our thanks. Dalvia was beloved by all. Her loss was difficult.
In twilight's glow where shadows meet, a warrior stands on weary feet. His sword, once bright, now dulled with strife, reflects the toll of countless lives. Oh, fate, you've carved this path of pain, through deserts vast, through blood and rain. Yet honor binds my heart tonight. For House Atreides, I still fight. Remember those who fell in fields, whose courage were their only shields. Their names engraved in stars above, their deeds the legacy of love. In silence, now I take my leave, for battles end, and souls must grieve. But know this truth, my comrades dear, in every heart we still stand near. O house of just and noble name, we've lit the stars with honor's flame. And though my journey's end is near, House Atreides, shed no tear. For in the halls where heroes rest, where valor shines, where hearts are blessed, we'll meet again in timeless peace, where all our pains and trials cease. In twilight's glow where shadows meet, a warrior stands on weary feet. His sword, once bright, now dulled with strife, reflects the toll of countless lives. Oh, fate, you've carved this path of pain, through deserts vast, through blood and rain. Yet honor binds my heart tonight. For House Atreides, I still fight. Remember those who fell in fields, whose courage were their only shields. Their names engraved in stars above, their deeds the legacy of love. In silence, now I take my leave, for battles end, and souls must grieve. But know this truth, my comrades dear, in every heart we still stand near. O house of just and noble name, we've lit the stars with honor's flame. And though my journey's end is near, House Atreides, shed no tear. For in the halls where heroes rest, where valor shines, where hearts are blessed, we'll meet again in timeless peace, where all our pains and trials cease. Powerful words that remind us of the courage and resolve that lives in every Atreides heart.
The heart of Rendavo. Rendavo's father was a sergeant, old and bent and grey. He served the Duke in '88, back in a bygone day. He lived out in the desert and scraped his meager fare, with children 9 around him and Ren, the youngest there. The older siblings learnt some sense, but Ren was left without. He was tall, but short on wisdom, and grew up broad and stout. Pious, cheerful, willing, yet he seldom did things right. "What will become of you, poor boy?" his father asked each night, and finally then answered, "A soldier, sword in hand. If all else fails, at least I can still die for Duke and land." Ren packed his bag and went to join the brave Atreides troop. Strong and fit, and healthy too, he was welcomed in the group. But when he had to master drills and learn the skills of war, the sergeant screamed and laughed and screamed still more. For when ordered to turn left, Ren would quickly turn to right, and hold his shoulder arms instead, charged with all his might. Ren Darbo's drills and troubles became a well-known tale. Even famous Duncan, Idaho, would smile at his travail. And when at last Ren's unit was ordered off to war, the officers debated, was he suited for that job? But Ren just let them argue. He stood there, broad and straight. If with the others I can't go, I'll go alone. Just wait. He took his sword and backpack and marched out with the rest. At camp, he was their servant, fulfilling each request. But when the battles raged, he was ordered to stand back. He didn't understand when to take cover or attack. Duncan, Idaho was on the run, Harkonnens in his tracks. He passed Ren Darvo's unit, shouting, "Boys, you watch our backs. Don't let the devils through the gorge, or all of us are lost. Guard it until we regroup. Keep it safe at any cost." A small detachment, made up but of barely 20 men, got there in time to make their stand. Along with them came Ren. The Harkonnens fell on them hard, their las guns raining death. And 7 brave Atreides men gave up their costly breath. The same disastrous fate would soon befall all those who stay. So when ordered to retreat, they all retreated straight away. All but one, who stayed to fight and charged the foes instead. Ren couldn't get the notion of flight through his stubborn head. He just stood there, broad and strong, and ready now to teach a lesson to each Harkonnen who came within his reach. At the choke point in the gully, they all each took a turn, but without lasgun cover. One by one, were forced to learn. They charged at Ren, but each who came was fought and bested all the same. None could beat him at this game, for Atreides' honor, house, and name. Duncan, Idaho had rallied all the troops that still were hale. He shouted, "Hold out, my brave lad, we're coming, do not fail." He told all who would hear him, watch a true Atreides fight. "Hurry, boys, come to his aid, he has saved us all tonight." Against that fearsome counter-strike, no Harkonnen could hold. They faltered, failed, and turned their backs, a rare sight to behold. Their faces pale, their weapons dropped behind them as they ran. And Duncan looked around and asked, "Where is that fearless man? He who held the gully until we could all return, that hero of the desert. His name I must needs learn." "He has fallen," said the sergeant, his head bowed down in shame. "He lies there dead upon the sand. Rendarvo was his name." "I remember him," said Idaho, "of Ren who'd seemed to rest, but for the blood that stained the shirt across his mighty chest. That lasgun knew just where to strike, as plainly you could see," said Idaho to those around. "Yes, it knew more than we. It shunned his brow. It was weak and poor, that much all of us knew. But found instead what better was his heart, forever true." The word spread quick among all those who had survived the fight, and every soldier did agree Duncan, Idaho was right. Rendavo was no thinker. His mind slow, his control. His head, they said, was impossible. But his heart, made of glass.
Master Chin was scary when I was little. The way he got that faraway look in his eye when he did his computing. Master Chin would have taken one look, and before you got a word out, he'd have done a sector-by-sector comparison of the map with known topography. But in this case, Dad didn't want anyone knowing the secrets of the map before he did.
I'll figure it out myself.
Mom said he was being a paranoid old fool, but what should have taken 30 seconds took 2 days. And don't you know it? 2 days later, we found ourselves piling into Clovis, our 68th Homeland Master, and set a course for the Hogavation. Into a marking that looked like an angry beetle.
This is our destination, kids. Remember that old Empire facility we found a few weeks back? It was a maintenance facility. You know, a bunch of tool pushers they kept around to fix stuff for the eggheads. I guess a scientist can tell you how much a pound of worm shit weighs, but put them all together in a room and they still can't turn a screw to save their lives. Anyhow, in the documentation we recovered, we found an inventory roll listing some of the other testing stations by number and field of study. Testing Station 29 studied plants, while 36 studied weather. Station 1, though, they studied bugs. Just like this ugly little sucker we're headed for.
Why was that journey long? Mom said it was a bad thing, and the sanctions were relentless. Visibility was almost nothing, and sometimes my little brother Coda and I had to get out and walk ahead of Clovis to make sure we didn't drive off a cliff. Eventually, we arrived at the sector indicated on the map, and we took Clovis away, where she was safe. As usual, Kodo and I took the point and went ahead of our group. I won't lie, every step of that mission was a chafing nightmare. Before we left Clovis, I made the harebrained decision to break in a handed-down steel suit that didn't fit right. I was in rare form and fit for time when we finally came upon the massive portal in the rocks. By then, we'd been to enough of these old testing stations to know when we saw it. The oversized doors were slightly open, but peering in, we could only see darkness. Coda was immediately apprehensive.
Reading a lot of foot traffic, Sally. I'm not sure how lost this old testing station really is.
Of course, that's when Dad and the rest of the family arrived.
I knew it!
Keep it down, Finn.
I knew it! You said I was a fool. You said I'd lead us into an ambush.
The night is young.
Ignore your...
We squeezed through the narrow aperture with ease, but quickly found our way blocked by a massive pit of darkness. After we recalibrated our optics for low light, we found a narrow ramp that wound down to the gaping shaft. I forgot all about my chafing as we descended into the darkness. I hated the feeling in there. The lonely, oppressive atmosphere that long abandoned places had encountered. But the spell was quickly broken when a Harkonnen fire team floated on the center of the shaft from above. We flattened ourselves against the wall and kept out of their light as the noisy and oblivious people floated past.
You know that bloody city will never be finished.
One day the Baron is going to come here and see what all his surroundings.
You're not going to be around when that happens.
And why is it you don't want that?
You haven't let the Baron get there, you boy.
So, what do we do now?
This place is huge, and we came this far. I say we go on high alert and check it out.
We couldn't risk getting caught, so we stuck to the shadows and moved as quietly as we could. Mom was right, this place was huge, with tunnels going off in every direction. We saw rooms full of weird machinery and old tech, stuff I'd never seen before. But oddly, no bugs or insects of any kind.
There were never any bugs, Sally. I think the symbol on the map indicates Harkonnens, not bugs.
Well, their helmets are kind of bug-shaped when you look at them.
That's when we heard footsteps and ducked into a side room just in time. Peeking out, we saw a group of Harkonnen troopers march past. We didn't know how many there were in total, but any kind of combat would have brought the whole base down on us. My heart was pounding so hard, I was sure they'd hear it. After they were gone, the spirit of adventure had left us, and we resolved to get out of there as fast as we could. Koda and I really wanted to kill us a Harkonnen, but Mom told us it wasn't our time yet. We'd get our chance one day. But boy was she wrong, as we came face to face with the Harkonnen captain at the top of the ramp. Our daggers were already in hand, as I went high and Koda went low. Eyes and thighs, we called it, as we practiced the move so many times. And that's how we killed our first Harkonnen. Koda took an ear for his collection and offered to help me start my own. But, ew, I told Koda no way. Once we made it back to Clovis, Dad sealed the hatch behind us as Mom brought her great engine to life. After we got back to Arakeen, Dad met his friend, Master Chim, and shared our findings. While we didn't score any decent salvage on the trip, Dad did receive a reward from the Atreides for providing them with actionable intelligence on the Harkonnen base. Apparently the location of that particular base had troubled them for a while. Last we heard, Gurney Halleck was on his way there with a heavy assault team. With that said, Atreides days are back at O'Gary's Imports.
That's right, Sally. Discounts across the board if you serve the Duke and can prove it. Come find us on the Agora Concourse of the Grand Souk in Arakeen. Because at O'Gary's Imports, if you want it, we have it. And if we don't have it, we'll get it.
Thanks, Dad. Until next time, this is your faithful Badland Scout, Sally O'Gary, signing off and reminding you to always check your six. And come back next time for another episode of the Wastelander Chronicles.